up, Dokkanners? Welcome back to Zunrami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. We are back with Hydros to shed some light on what is going on in Dokkan right now, because you may have heard safety net, that word, safety net. So, what's up, Hydros? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
All right, enough flirting. All right, so I brought back Hydros onto the channel because the last time we had to talk about safety net, Hydros was kind enough to jump on and explain a lot of the stuff for us. So we brought him back again because now it seems like they're actually following through with this whole safety net implementation. So Hydros, we'll just start with the basics and a refresher. What exactly is safety net and why are they doing this now?
Safety net, in the easiest way possible for everybody to understand, is the end-all be-all of all mods, bots, emulators, whatever have you. It's like the ultimate protection generally for like games, mobile apps, and all that kind of stuff. And the implementation of safety net is in the game, like it's all there. It's just their end, like in the best way to describe it, it's literally like flipping a switch. That's all they got to do. Because if you noticed in the news, that little post, that little system info thing they put out, it doesn't mention anything about an app update.
So this is just happening on its own soon.
It could be like a month from now. It could be a week. It could be an hour. It could be right now when I'm recording this video. We don't know.
The common argument with safety net is that, well, not safety net itself, but the fun with mods, the appeal with using mods and other ways to play the game is that it allows people to engage in the game and the community more. Do you feel like this action that they're finally taking, it looks like, so from what you're saying, it sounds like they threw it, they announced it before, they said, hey, we're gonna do it, but they never did. Now that they're actually following through, do you think that this is ultimately good for the game, or do you think this is gonna hurt the community because of the fact that now it limits the amount of things that people can do inside the game?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it forces people to play the game how it's meant to be played. That's never a bad thing in my opinion. In my eyes, I have to side on like the side of truth, and say it's good that a lot of this stuff is gone. Like the bot did hurt the friends list. That was a pain from what that blowback would that happen. So the bot being gone definitely is a plus for the friends lists. In terms of like showcasing and private servers and stuff like that. I mean, take it as what you will. Yeah, we probably won't get to see the units early, but I mean, it's not a bad thing in my opinion. I feel like it'd be more of a shock factor when we do finally see stuff. So I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing generally. The only bad thing, and I say that loosely, is the emulator stuff. That's because, you know, some people don't have like the up and up to date phones, so they use emulators, which understandably, but even without safety net, I've mentioned this before as well, is that emulators would eventually be shoved out anyway. The way safety net works is that when the game and your device sends a token to the servers to verify it, emulators cannot do that. They can't send a legitimate safety net token to the servers to be verified. So that's the whole reason why emulators will get shut out, is they just can't do it.
Okay, so what do these emulation players need to do at this point? Because, like you said, this could happen at any moment. There's no announcement of a data, the server maintenance or whatever. It could happen at any time. So what do emulator players need to do at this point to get going? And this is a JP thing, so what can global players also do to get ready for this if it's going to be happening sooner rather than later?
Global, specifically, they're on like what, 4.16 whatever. I think that's actually, I think the last update. No, maybe it was either that or maybe JP's wanted more recent 4.17 updates that maybe I think added just a smidgen more of the implementation that finalized it. But they could still do I feel like they could maybe do global and JP. Like they could just flip the switch and be like, okay, you're both gone at the same time. I don't think they will do that. I think they'll wait till whatever JP's other update was that had the implementation in it, and then they'll do that. But what people need to do is, if you're on an emulator, link your accounts to your Facebook, whatever have you, right? and then transfer off to a device. If you don't have a device, then at least link your account so that it's there, you have it, and you can then, if you ever get a device or you borrow a friend's or whatever, you have your account there. You can still grab your account. Don't make the mistake of waiting till the last possible minute and you're not able to link your account. Do it right away and you should be fine, at least with saving your account intact and not losing it because the emulators got shut off.
And there's also that added stipulation of, if you're trying to transfer an account or retrieve an account from an Android-based device originally to an iOS or something like that, you got to be mindful of your stones, right? Because you lose some of that in the shuffle.
Yes, so the reason they also do that, for many that don't actually know, is because of like currency differences between the shops and price differences and all that stuff. That way they prevent people from buying on one and then transferring it back to another for buying cheaper here and there, right? So they don't want people doing that.
Right.
So that's why that exists for the most part. But yes, if you transfer from Android to iOS, iOS to Android, you will lose your stones.
Let's talk about it from a content creator perspective. I think that this safety net will legitimize the field of content creation, because now it adds more value and it adds, I guess, more incentive to some of the whale content creators to actually whale out and get their units, rainbow their units, to then do legitimate 100% showcases, because now that will be the only way for people to gain access to seeing how these units function at, the pinnacle levels. So I actually feel like in terms of content creation, this is going to substantially help the community instead of hurt.
I completely agree. Having people that can actually do showcases once they have the unit, once the unit is fully, released, whether they whale for it, go 100%, 55%, whatever, those showcases will now get bumped up in terms of search rankings, because now we don't have these server showcases, chain injection, whatever it may be, already being done before the unit is even released. So,
is this whole change also going to affect the rate at which information gets disseminated into the Dokkan community in terms of data downloads? When we have, we know something's coming up, the data comes in, are the data miners still going to be able to retrieve that, analyze it, and see what's coming up? Or are we actually going to have to wait until announcements via social media or through the in-game announcements?
It's a very tricky thing now with the way SafetyNet works. SafetyNet, just for a little bit more explanation, SafetyNet blocks the ability to use modified versions of the APK on Android. iOS has its own actual SafetyNet version. It's not called SafetyNet, it's called Device Check. I don't know too much about that one, but it kind of operates similarly to SafetyNet, to where it will detect modified, jailbreaks and all that kind of stuff. It does that. But in terms of Android, can't modify the APK. You can't root your device, which rooting allows you to access stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to on a phone. It gives you like administrative privilege rights in a way, to where you can do more things to your device, and that can't be allowed because SafetyNet does check and see if you have root on your device, and if you do, it won't let you do it. And then it won't let you also. It was modified. You can't if you have a modified device. I don't know how many people actually modify the actual device of their phone, but it doesn't allow that either. If you ever tamper with like the actual hardware itself, right? And then in terms of Android 9 and above, there's something called hardware safety net, which is actually built into the actual device. It's not anything to do with the game. It's actually in the phone. And it's Android OS 9 and above, if I'm not mistaken, of devices that have that ship with that that OS. But there are ways around root detection for SafetyNet called like Magisk, or I can't remember how it's actually pronounced, but it's Magisk. That allows you to there is a way to use that bypasses SafetyNet in a way to kind of make it think that it's okay, like it's passable for SafetyNet, but if it has the hardware implementation of the phone, Magisk won't even work. So that is even worse. So if you can't root your device, what that means for Dokkan is, because where Dokkan stores their data, Dokkan stores it in the root of the phone, unlike a lot of other games. Legends, Ultra Impact, all of these other games actually store it within like the viewable data section of your phone, like it's called the SD card or whatever, just your storage.
Right.
Wherever you can access that. Most games do store it there. Dokkan does not. It stores it in the hidden root section that you can't access normally And on their part, that was smart. But, you know, data download bots and stuff like that existed, which now safety net will kill those off because they can't provide safety net tokens, so those won't exist. The only real way to get it would be to actually pull it from your device. But here's the thing, you can't root your device, because if you do, games like and if you have a hardware limitation, you're not going to be able to boot that game up anyway.
Wow.
And if you modify the APK to like, you could probably remove that safety net from the game, but if you modify it and you're not sending, you cannot fake safety net tokens. It's impossible. If you remove the safety net, it's gonna ping to Dokkan. It's like, hey, this isn't legitimate. Either ban the device, ban the account, whatever. You're done already, and then you're not gonna be able to get data downloads again. So it's in their way, it was very smart for them to put it in the root. It kind of sucks. So for data mining, for getting stuff early, it's going to hinder it quite a bit. I'm sure people will still find a way to get it. It's not totally impossible. It's just more of a pain in the neck than anything else. It's way more of a pain now. When I first started data mining Dokkan, I used to pull it from the actual device root itself. Like, that's where I used to do it from. Then we had the data download bots and stuff like that come out, and then that made it so much easier because we didn't have to do anything. But yeah, with root and safety net and all that stuff, it's a lot harder to do it. And if you root your device, you wouldn't be able to log into the game, therefore you can't get data download, so you can't get the new data anyway. With hardware safety net, you can't even have magics to hide your root to then bypass the safety net, because then it'd be like, no, you have hardware safety net, you can't do this.
I am really looking forward to the first time that Dokkan has to deal with what the next data download is, and we don't have any way to access the information. Probably, like you said, at some point people will be able to figure out a way to circumvent this issue. But that first time, it's going to be really intriguing to see, like, the suspense factor, because that's actually going to be a thing now. Because before, we're always like, oh, we know what's coming. Shout out to Hydros, shout out to this guy, shout out to that guy. We always know. Now, for the first time, we may not know. And that, I think, is going to be some very intriguing, suspenseful Dokkan content, I think.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you would think like stuff like the Dokkan now, that should be like the hype stuff. That's where people should get hype. But then they push out the data, and then we already know what it is before the Dokkan now. So they just shot themselves in the foot at that point.
This is a lot to take in, but ultimately, folks, this is good for the game. So hopefully some of these common questions that some of you may have thought of have helped you. And for those of you who are playing on emulator, get ready, plan out your strategy to get back on track, because you don't want to lose out if they drop this immediately, which is very possible.
In terms of like private server type stuff, because with private servers, in terms of KX and Trident, the way we built it is we don't actually connect to official Dokkan servers. So technically safety net wouldn't be a problem for us, but because of the new APKs and stuff like that that will come out, safety net is going to be a problem, and that is going to be a pain in the neck. The main pain in the neck would be getting data downloads as well to put into the game, because if we can't actually download it from our modified APKs, then we can't get data, therefore we can't actually do anything in the private server. So there, it's all tied together in a way. But for all you guys on global, JP, just at the very least, link your accounts. Even if you're not on emulator, link your account anyway, just in case. You never want to lose your account anyway. But yeah, make sure you link it. That's all you need to do. At least your account will be safe, even if you don't have a device.
Folks, make sure to check out Hydros over on his channel. He also does My Hero Academia Ultra Impact content, so make sure to check out those. Links will be in the description. Hydros, thank you for doing this, man. Appreciate it, buddy.
Of course, happy to be here.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.